What's going on? 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 Hope all is well with everyone. Hope everyone is having a wonderful evening. Yes, probably about 10, something where I am right now. Just decided to go live. I said I was going to go live. So I wanted to be a man of my word and go live on Saturdays. Like I said, I was laying in the bed and I said, hmm, I need to do what I said I was going to do. Had a long day today, had a lot of stuff going on, but I wanted to be sure that I went live on today because it was very vital and very important. So I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. Hope everybody's having a wonderful evening. Yeah, just one of those things. I just wanted to get on live. I said I was going to do something. When you say to you you're going to do something, be a person of your word. When you say you're going to do something, be a person of your word. Go live, do what you got to do. So that was the whole point of me doing this. Like I said, just looking at some things and making sure everything is set up. So don't mind me. Don't mind me. Like I said, just looking at some things, making sure everything is fine, making sure my audio is fine, things like that. But hope everybody's having a wonderful evening. What's going on, J3? How you doing, sir? Hope all is well with you on this evening. Hey, hey, hey. Hope you're doing well. I am on myself. Like I was saying, I just wanted to be sure that I was a man of my word. Saying what you're going to do and doing something is making sure that you're doing it. Hey, J3, all good. And you, I'm wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Part of being a man of your word is doing what you say you're going to do. I had a goal to be sure that I went live on Saturdays. I was laying in my bed, had a long day today, but I said I was going to go live. Let me go live. Now I made some videos, I have some videos that I was editing and things like that, but I said that I was going to go live and I was going to do more live. So I said, you know what? I got to be a man of my word. I said I was going to do it. I'm going to do it. So I just wanted to talk a little bit tonight. It's a lot of things going on in the news cycle, a lot of things that we are seeing. For instance, I got some videos coming out about what's going on behind the scenes. I talked about EV a lot, and I've been saying a lot about EV. And a lot of people probably been wondering, why is he talking about EV so much? A lot of people don't realize this is going to be something that's going to be revolutionary, something that's going to pretty much take over a lot that we deal with, even with this chat GPT. Right now, everybody's talking about this chat GPT and the things that it can do, the functions that it can create, the prompts that you can put in it, and things like that. People don't realize that these things are going to take over a lot of jobs. A lot of people, unfortunately, are going to be out of a lot of jobs because of this technology. And what we have to do is get in front of it and make sure that we're in position to win. Got to make sure that we're doing what we need to do. Looking at my book, I'm not sure if you read some of the things, but one of the things I said in here, I wrote this in 2017, put it on the side and didn't publish it in 2019. Actually, my grandmother passed and we laid her to rest January 1st, 2019. So I just decided to put this little thing together. But it says, as for now, me writing this, I personally foresee autonomous cars being the next thing. Imagine calling a car and you don't have to own one. Made in a world where you can get in a car and it can take you to work or any other place that you want it with no driver. Now, look, when you break down the autonomous car, you look at the fact that you have components that run the car. Look at the batteries, the sensors, the different computer components, and the companies that may be involved. I'll also look at the things that you normally buy on a normal basis. For instance, if you have power, what is the power company that you currently use? If you have gas, what's the gas company that you currently use in your home? If you have a cell phone, what the company do you use for service? With the emerging technology, look at 5G. There will be a lot of bad things, however, this technology will happen. I look at the shoes you wear, the car you drive, the products you purchase in your home, and those factors that you currently purchase in your home. So pretty much I talked about a lot of these things in the book and things like that. I look at what shoes you wear. I look at all these factors and pretty much diversify your portfolio. So what does it mean? I'm reading from my book, by the way. Think about it. This is if you have the same type of stock, that means if something were to happen in your current portfolio, it's all in one sector. So pretty much, I'm not an investment advisor giving you investment advice, but I'm letting you know a lot of things are going to happen. A lot of things are going to happen. A lot of things we need to make sure that we're doing even now. If you just turn on the news for 30 seconds, there's a truth, there's a lie, and everything in between is where you need to focus on. A lot of news may say one thing. Oh, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing this. Kind of like Bitcoin. They said, oh, Bitcoin is bad, it's the worst thing. And you find out the very people who said Bitcoin was bad actually owns more Bitcoin than anyone. So you have to look between the truth, a lie, and everything in between. Everything in between. The people are saying that, hey, look, Bitcoin is amazing. And people are saying that Bitcoin is horrible, and everything in between. If you look up who owns the most Bitcoin, you will find out the same people who said that are the same people who actually talked about Bitcoin and saying that it was horrible and trying to make regulations against Bitcoin. But they own more than anybody, any company or anything. So what is that saying to you? That's saying people are getting positioned because they know things about to happen. And unfortunately, what's going to happen with us, if we're not careful, some people's jobs are going to be lost and people are going to be in a position where they're going to be in trouble. So I'm asking you the question, even if you watch this live now, if you watch it later, whatever the case may be, I'm just putting it on record. What are you going to do? Ask yourself what you're going to do and what is your plan. Because if you don't have a plan to win, you have a plan to fail. And unfortunately, what's going to happen is this: you're going to mess around, be in a position, and you are going to be in trouble because guess what? You're going to be in trouble because you didn't put a plan in place. The military, J3, if you're still in here, has a saying: proper preparation prevents poor performance. If you prepare properly, you will not have to worry about poor performance. So we got to worry about what we got to do. Another thing, they got some things going out, even with the platform. We're not going to say that platform's name, but they have some things coming out where that platform is going to be annihilated. It's going to be taken away on, hey, yep, 5P. Yep. The 5 Ps. They have something going on where there's a certain tech. I don't use that platform, but there's a certain platform that in Montana, they are voting to take that platform away. They're saying, hey, look, we want to vote to take this platform away. It's going to the governor in that area, George, and he will vote on that to see if that platform will be taken away in their state. That platform comes from China, and they're saying, hey, look, what we're going to do, we don't believe in it. We're going to ban it in our state. So there's a lot of things that comes on with that. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to come to YouTube because of certain platforms being banned. Also, you got Elon Musk. When it comes to AI, Elon Musk is actually putting out something that is going to rival OpenAI. He actually created something called OpenAI. If you don't know what it is, look it up later. But AI company that he is going to create. He actually helped co-found OpenAI, and he's actually going to come out and have another company that's going to rival OpenAI. He's been seen and heard of buying NVIDIA chips, the highest grade NVIDIA chips. And if you look at those highest grade chips, each chip sells for $40,000 a piece. He's been headhunting. If you don't know what that means, that's when a company goes and says, hey, look, J3, we like what you're doing. We want you to come work for us. Whatever the case is, we want you to come work with us because you're good at this. He's been seen at Google and other places looking for top AI execs. So you got to look at that and what's going to happen in those moves. Also, Twitter, they actually came out with something where you can invest with stocks in crypto. Yes, that's right. You're going to be able to invest with stocks in crypto with Twitter. That's coming out. They have that platform. They're partnering with a platform to allow you to do that. So you're probably asking yourself, what's going on? Why are they partnering with that platform? What's going on with that platform? Why are they partnering with this? Why is everybody moving to a place where it comes to digital currency? Ask yourself those questions. Ask yourself the questions is why they're doing what they have to do. Even ask yourself the question is what's going on with Elon Musk talking about this whole energy thing. Elon Musk came up with a plan. It's a 41-page plan that's actually going to be talking about different energy and things that he plans to do to make sure he annihilates or takes away any type of non-sustainable energy. He's actually coming out with a plan, and that plan is going to actually take effect. So he said, look, y'all plan, y'all know who y'all is. I'm not going to say the name. Your plan is actually going to cost $14 trillion. My plan is going to cost $10 trillion. See, if you come to my plan, what we're going to do is save you $4 trillion. And if you know anything about Elon Musk, you may not like him, whatnot. Hey, Tamika Davis, you may not like Elon Musk or anything like that, but one thing you know is when he makes moves, we got to pay attention. He is the second wealthiest man under the person who owns Gucci and all that stuff. There's like 5 or 6 brands under his name. The first richest person in the world, Elon Musk, was richer than him. However, he's making a lot of money from that. Miss Davis, what's going on? What's going on? So what we have to do is figure out what's going on. We got to figure out what's going on. We got to look from one point to one point and find what's going on in between. Once we do that, we sit up there and make ourselves a plan. If you looked at the news cycles, like I said, there's a truth, there's a lie, and what in between is the real deal. I'm sure J3, you understand, especially what you did for our country. I appreciate it. I salute you. I appreciate you and everyone who served our country. But as people know, when it comes down to something, you're given a mission. You're supposed to do the mission and not ask any questions. This is what you're here for. You do what you need to do. Go in, do what you got to do. No questions asked. So, as it relates to anything, what we have to do is make sure that we're figuring out where we're going to be. If you're in a job that could be taken by Chat GPT or any open AI sources, if you're in those type of fields, if you're in the manufacturing field, if you're in the waiter field, and if you're in any type of fields like that, or anything really, any and everything can be taken by Chat GPT. If you're in customer service and you're taking calls, you need to be positioning yourself in a position where you say, hey, what can hurt me as it relates to this new technology? How can I learn? Because if you're not learning, guess what's going to happen? You're going to be behind the scenes. And unfortunately, what's going to happen is it's going to pass us by. As I said, I'm not an investment advisor. I'm not giving you an investment advice. I'm simply just giving you information so that you can take and make sure. Somebody asked me a question in one of my videos, and they asked, what happens to the batteries once it ends its life cycle? So when you look at those AI batteries, they have several components in those batteries. What happens is there's other companies that breaks down those batteries. They break down those batteries, they break it down, they take those raw materials and they reform another battery. Uh, One of those batteries can last anywhere between 5 to 20 years, some maybe even 30 years if they're doing what they need to do. So what happens? Those components are raw materials. Now, there's some batteries that's going to be made from silica or silicone silica. It's going to be made from that. There's some emerging technologies that is going to allow them to do that and possibly extend a battery range anywhere between 300 to 600 miles on what it currently is now. So what we need to make sure that we're doing, especially when it comes to our portfolio, if you're an investor, we need to make sure that we write down 100%, break everything down, and make sure that we're doing what we need to do. There's so many things going on in the news cycle that we need to pay attention to, especially when it comes to what the major people are doing. Walmart now is making some move. They sold some assets up under them, and they sold it to different tech firms and different firms. They sold 2 major assets, brands that they made. They sold those away. So we need to be paying attention to where the money's going, what type of moves are people making, so that we can make sure that we're okay. And probably some of you are probably wondering, why should I invest money? All this stuff is happening in the market. Oh, I could lose everything. Yeah, I could do this. But ask yourself this question. Um, could you lose everything if you don't do anything? If you make no decision, if you do nothing, guess what's going to happen? If you do nothing, we're going to be in a position where we are going to be in trouble if we do nothing. If we do nothing, guess what's going to happen? You're just going to sit back, and inflation is going to beat you on the head, like the Rock'em Sock'em robots. Remember that thing with the little Rock'em Sock'em? Inflation is going to beat you like that. So we got to make sure that we are hedging ourselves in inflation. Right now, China is actually welcome in, welcome in. Right now, China is actually producing something with the BRICS nations. What is the BRIC nations? That's Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. They're telling people, hey, look, uh, get away from this dollar, get away from this dollar. Come on over here, come on over here. It's kind of like this. If you had a friend and your friend said you were cool, I don't like this person. And then, you were hanging out with your friend, and then you see your friend hanging out with some other people that you weren't cool with. And you're like, hold up, why are these friends? Why are you hanging out with this person? Oh, everything's cool. Don't worry about it. I'm cool with them. I'm cool with you. But you notice those friends have been talking about you to other nations and other countries and things like that. You start to wonder, are you really my friend? Are you just trying to get the best deal? What's going on? So what's going on is a lot of countries are getting away from the dollar. How do I know that? Because they're buying oil and other resources outside of the dollar. So what do we need to do? We need to pay attention to what's going on, because there's a shift going on. And if we're not within the shift, kind of like surfing, if you don't get on that wave when it breaks, you're going to be in trouble. And my alarm is ringing. So I hope I don't get copyrighted because my alarm rang. So yeah, hope I don't get copyrighted because of my alarm. So none the least, when it comes down to it, there's a lot of things that we have to make sure that we're doing and make sure that we are in position. So anyway, I hope everybody's having a wonderful night. Like I said, the main point of me going live is to be sure that I am doing what I need to do. I'm looking at my alarms to make sure there is no more alarms that are going to ring. I'm probably wondering, people are probably wondering, why do you have a coat on in your house? Well, here's one thing I do. Because I have lights. I have a light here, I have a light here, and I have another light. I have a lot of lights. You see lights here, have a computer here, have all this equipment. It brings off heat. So if you know anything about technology, when it comes to heat, it heats up and it gets hot. So what I make sure I do is cut the AC on to make sure the AC is down. Together, we break change production. What's going on with you? How are you on this evening? So I make sure that I cut up some power, cut up some AC so that I will not be hot in my office while I'm recording things. Make sure the AC is real low. And as these everything heats up, I make sure. So that's just a little, a little tip. If you're a content creator, you have an office, you want to make sure that everything's okay. You make sure everything's fine. So I'm cutting off an alarm. That's why I'm looking down, because my phone may ring again. But anywho, together we break chains. J3 says hello. Together we break chains. So, nonetheless, what we're talking about is what's going on in the market, what's going on. As I said before, I'm not an investment advisor. Please be sure before you make any move that you are making sure you use wisdom, you're praying about it, and you're not putting every dollar that you have. Now, I believe in the market, we're going to probably have a 20 to 50% correction on some stocks. So if you're looking to invest something, me personally, I've, a while back, I've traded everything to EV sector. I did some things as it relates to merging tech, as it relates to speculative plays, things I think that will go on. You're going to have to charge the vehicles with a charging station. So I did some plays with that. Also made sure with companies who actually have lithium and different materials used to batteries, I invested in those type of companies. And I also invested in some things that staples, some things that we already need. So I'm sure that everyone has some type of toothpaste or deodorant in their home, something like that. If you look on the back, 9 times out of 10, it's one of three companies that you have, that products that you have. I know nothing about stocks. I want to invest too. You know what? I'm going to talk about it, and I will let you know a little bit about that. And I'll post something in the chat later, or give you a website as it relates to. Matter of fact, after this video, I'm going to post something in the description. Together we break chains production. Anybody who has not downloaded, I know J3, I believe you went there. But if you have not looked, I have a book. I was going to mail out copies, but the easiest way to get people this book is to make it an ebook. I made it an ebook. I'm going to post it in the description of this video after this so that you can download the ebook at no cost. Put your name and information in it, or your YouTube channel name or whatever, and it will give you the book. Make sure you're putting the right information in. It'll get you the book so that you can get some information. It's to the point. It's simple. It's not, hard to read. It's an easy read. I wrote it short to the point because I know that people have busy lives, and I understand that me talking all deep and analytical, some things that may help people, but if I have a graphic novel this thick, most people are not going to read all of it. I wanted something so people can read it and understand to the point. So that's what we did. So they'll be in the description after this video. I don't want anything for it. I just want to help people. I want to give it away. I'm not sure if J3, if you finished it, or give me your opinion of it. You more than welcome. Thank you. Together we break chains production. So give me your opinion if you read it. Let me know what you think about it. But none the least, as it relates to anything, we have to be ahead of what's going on. A lot of times, the easiest thing to think about when it comes to investing, I remember before we're gonna say 2020. I'm gonna call it 19. It starts with a C and it ends 19. I'm not gonna say the name in the chat or say the name, but I'm gonna call it 19. Before 19 happened, welcome in everyone. Welcome in. Before 19 happened, I remember saying, "Okay, what's going on?" I remember looking on the news, seeing them talking about 19. So I asked myself, what things would happen if this were to happen? So I put my portfolio in those modes. The things that, as it relates to people actually going in. And thank you so much. Thank you so much. Together we break chains, and everyone who liked the video and actually shared it out. Yeah. So when it comes down to anything, I made sure that I put my portfolio in assets that were going to benefit, assets that were going to keep us in a situation. I hear you. Assets is going to put ourselves in a situation to win. So I knew that if people were at home, they weren't going to be going on trips like that. So I knew those particular stocks were going to suffer. I knew that people were going to shop more online. So I put money in those things. So ask yourself this question: if this were to happen, then this could happen. So you actually, do a process of elimination, kind of write it down. I'm not sure how old everyone is in the chat. How seasoned everyone is. I call it seasoned. I don't call old, but how seasoned everyone is. But I remember growing up and writing, the teacher would make us do this big old bubble, and you would write a circle, and then you would write what the topic was. So I would write stocks, and then I would put the different little lines in it. We called it a dream weave or dream web or whatever it was called back then. But we wrote down certain little things and we broke it down. So take that particular thing. If this happens, then this will happen. If this happens, then that would happen. If this happens, and you break it down like that. So if something were to ever happen again like that, then based on past history what would happen, how would people react, what products would people buy. If there's a recession, which I believe it will be based on the inflation, you need to say, okay, if there's an inflation, now we're doing hypothetically speaking, okay? Now this is what I would do. I'm not an investment advisor giving you investment advice, but this is what I would do. Okay, if there's another recession, which I believe there will be, what would I do? What would people buy? What would people not buy? So I know that if there's another recession, a lot of people are not going to buy certain name brand clothes. They may be selling those clothes in different places, but they're not going to be going out buying Gucci, Prada, Louis, and all those other things. They're going to say, well, let me not buy it. Now, there are going to be other people who purchased it, but those particular things people may not buy. Now, one thing people are going to buy is fuel. Now, ask yourself this question: why is fuel back up now? Fuel is back up right now because the OPEC Plus decided to cut production. What is OPEC plus? Just think about it as a group of countries coming together, saying, "Hey, look, this is what we're going to do." Group of cousins. Let's just say it like that. They may not be all cousins, but I'm just saying cousins coming together and saying, "Hey, this is what we believe the price should be. This is what we should do. This is what's going on in the world. This is what we're going to do." So OPEC plus decide to cut the barrel production. And when you cut production of anything, when you have more supply of something, based on economics, more supply means, generally a less value. When you cut the supply of something, that means you have less. That means it's worth a little bit more. So when that means it's more exclusive, so oil is going to go up. So you ask yourself their questions: what's going to go up? What type of things can I put my money in? What is going next? We talked about EV earlier, and where I believe that we're going. So that's a starter. There's nothing to argue about on that. So when we talk about anything, how can EV run? What's going on as it relates to anything? If you have a phone, any type of phone, that if you have Apple, that the cloud services are great. Even if you have a Google account, they want you to add more to your cloud. Most companies, even Samsung now, is asking you to get cloud services. So what companies are great in the cloud service industry? Where can we put our money as it relates to that? So what companies are great in that? So also, if there's were a recession, what would people not be doing? They probably wouldn't be buying new vehicles, right? So what that means is they won't be buying new vehicles. That means what we need to do, that means those vehicle sales will go down. Now they have something called options. And what options are, the short version of a long version is this. Simple way to put it. You can say, I believe a stock will go up, or I believe it will go down. So a call means you believe that it will go up. A put is you believe the stock will go down. So if you put a call in on something, you say, I'm going to put a call on this particular stock. One contract equals 100 shares. So your money value. So if let's say, for instance, Amazon, let's say Amazon was 100, let's say $200, just for argument's sake. Amazon was $200 per share. For a contract at Amazon, you get 100 shares controlled in that contract, but the contract may be $500, $1,000 somewhat. But if you believe Amazon will go up, you say, I believe it will go up. You put that call in. If you believe Amazon will go down, you put that call in and put a put in for it to go down. Long term, more long term, you know, things like a year or two is probably going to be your cheapest route. And what you're going to do is do that. Now, I personally don't trade options because to me, it's kind of more like gambling. And what I mean by that is if you're out of the money, meaning if you're not making any money with that thing, what's going to happen is your Amazon situation, you're going to lose. So if you're not within a strike price, that means strike price, meaning how much money you're within a certain range. When that contract expires, it means it expires worthless and you make no money. I personally say, nah, I'm not playing that game. I'm going to put money in the stock itself. So what would you do if okay, I believe that companies are going to go down. You look at what companies you believe could go down in a recession and a market downturn. What would happen? You say, okay, if it goes down 20 to 50% from this price, that's what I believe it will be. So you're probably asking, well, what do you research these things? They have things called CNBC, MSNBC, Forbes. You have a lot of different assets that way. You have different little trading platforms. You have Webull. You have Trade King, if they still have Trade King. You have Robinhood. You have TD Ameritrade. You have E-Trade, you have man, there's so many right now. So you ask yourself where you want to put your money in, what platform you want to put your money in. It's all to you. It's kind of like a bank. It depends on what you like. Certain banks may not have certain products. Same thing as it relates to these trading platforms. Certain trading platforms may not have all of the shared assets you may invest in. Just depends on what you like and what you wanted to do. So as it relates to anything, you have to ask yourself this question. If I believe the market's going to be down, what is it that people are going to buy? People are going to buy food, right? So you ask yourself, what companies produce food? If the market's down, people gonna have to, wash their clothes. I mean, I know I still wash my clothes in a recession. People gonna have to brush their teeth. I know I still brush my teeth in a recession. Some people don't, but that's them. People did this. People had to put on deodorant. I know I still wore deodorant in a recession. So you ask yourself the question, what products do you have? Feminine products. Women still have that time, that they need feminine products. So that's going to happen no matter what. Those things are a non-starter. People are going to make sure that they keep themselves together as it relates to that. So when that comes down, you ask yourself that question: what things are people going to do as it relates to those things? What things are people going to do? What things are people going to put their money in? So once you do that, you say, okay, I know that people have this, this, and this, so I'm going to put my money in this. Like Procter and Gamble. Procter and Gamble has so many companies that it has in it. If you look up Procter and Gamble, you will see all the companies it has. And I wish I was on StreamYard. I went into YouTube. So I'm going to name some of the brands that Procter and Gamble has. I'm going to name some of the brands that Procter and Gamble has. And I'm sure that you've heard some of these: Pampers, Loves, All. Those are, baby care, fabric products, Ariel, Cheer, Bounce, Drift, Gain, Tide, Bounty, Charmin, Puffs. I'm sure that you've heard of those places, right? Let's talk about feminine care: Always, Jess, Tampax. This is L. Men, let's talk about the grooming products: Braun, Gillette, Joy Plus Glee, Venus. I know you women heard of that. The Art of Shaving, I'm sure. Let's talk about hair care: Estee Lauder, Head and Shoulders, Old Spice, Pantene. Let's talk about home care. I know somebody has Cascade, Dawn in their house right now. Matter of fact, I know somebody has Gain, Febreze, or Microbond in their house right now. Mr. Clean or Swiffer in their house right now. Let's talk about multi-brands. They have so many different multi-brands. We're not going to go over those, but that's how many companies. Let's talk about oral care: Scope, Crest, Oral B, Flodent, Personal Care, Clear Blue, Pepto-Bismol, Vicks, ZzzQuil, Skincare, Gillette, Olay, Right Guard. Excuse me, Gillette, Olay, Old Spice, not Right Guard. I'm sorry, Safeguard. That's what I meant to say. And Ivory. So if you look at it, those are the products that people have when it comes down to it. Those are the products that people have when it comes to it. And we need to ask ourselves the question: what products do people still buy? So we know that. Now we know people are still going to buy gas, but some people may not utilize their cars that much. They may say, yeah, maybe I don't need to go out to this movie. Maybe I need to order a movie in. We know that. We know some people may say, oh, I still need that one trip, because that's a non-starter for some people, right? I'm still gonna, girl, I'm still gonna go on that trip. Hey, bro, we gonna go on a bros trip. Yeah, we gonna go out of town. Whatever. If you're married, hey, whatever, you're gonna still go on that trip. So certain things are a non-starter for certain people. So you have to ask yourself the question: if something were to happen, then what's the reaction? Ask yourself the question: what's the reaction for certain things? What is the reaction for certain things as it relates to anything that we do? So when it comes down to it, you ask yourself those questions, and then you build your portfolio around those things. Now they have certain stocks that actually have what's called a pool of stocks. And if you look at the S&P 500, all it is 500 companies that are in the Standards and Poor. That's what it stands for. 500 companies that are within that portfolio. They have those type of things, and they have their own type of assets, other assets that are like the S&P, kind of like MOX. And you can, invest in those things like VOO and Spider, SPDR. I believe that's the ticker symbol. They have a different methods of that. So VOO, when it comes down to it, um, let's see what they have in VOO. Give me a moment. All you do is type in Google VOO, and you have the holding. So They have 25 top holdings, uh, and that's pretty much the Vanguard. If you heard of Vanguard, that's what VOO is. Vanguard it copies and mocks the S&P 500. You got companies like Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Nvidia that are in VOO. So you ask yourself those questions. Um, do you want to do what's called an ETF? So some people have ETFs and they have individual stocks. I call it double dipping. So I do invest in Apple, I do invest in Microsoft and Amazon, but I do have ETFs as well. So you ask yourself those questions. What is it and where is it that you want to put yourself in position? So when it comes down to it, you're just going to ask yourself the questions. Where are we? Where do I want to go? I know this is a lot of information to take in for some. I know it's a lot of information, but what we have to do is ask ourselves this question. Are we going to wait until something happens and be reactive? Or are we going to be proactive? Are we going to be proactive and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to wait until what's going on. He says, I am so lost. So do me a favor when it comes down to it. It's okay. Never knew that. Okay. I'm so lost. S&P 500. Okay. So do me a favor. Together we break chains. I know I'm going over a lot of information. Do me a favor. Let me know what is it that I can break down a little bit more. Let me know. And I'm not trying to be funny. Anybody, feel free to ask questions in the chat. I know I'm going off and saying a lot of things, but I'm here to answer questions. So as it relates to anything, are you talking about the S&P 500 that you're not understanding? Maybe I didn't clarify that. So let me know. Let me know. And it's like I said, I'm not trying to be funny or anything. The whole point is I'm here for you. So feel free to type in the chat if you have any questions. I'll be more than willing to answer your questions in the chat to the best of my ability. So go ahead and okay. I just don't understand the whole investing thing. Okay. So um, let's say if you have a grocery store, all right. If you own a grocery store, and I'm gonna put it like this. No, I'm gonna even break it down even simpler. Let's say if you bake cakes and you had a baker and you bake cakes, or you just bake cakes for your job. Okay, you bake cakes. All right, so you have a cake. All right. And that whole cake is the whole cake. So if somebody comes up to you, um, oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. So you have a cake together, we break chains production, and somebody says, hey, I heard you bake a pound cake. How much does it cost for a whole pound cake? And you say, well, I got to get the ingredients. So you calculate in your head, I got to get the ingredients. Okay, the price is up. Okay, I'm going to charge you, let's say you say $100. I'm just throwing out a price, $100 for a whole pound cake. And they say, okay, well, do you sell it by the slice? I don't know if I want to pay $100 for a whole pound cake. Can I get half a pound cake? So, well, half a pound cake. Yeah, I can give you half a pound cake. Then somebody else comes to you and says, "Hey, I don't want half a pound cake. Can I get uh, some slices of that cake?" Now, remember, somebody you made one whole cake. Somebody bought half that cake, right? So then you say, you know what? Hello, 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 Miss Deborah. So somebody says to you, hey, I just want a little slice of cake. I just want a little slice of cake. And so together break change. They say, I just want a little piece. How much are you gonna sell me that little piece of cake for? And they say, and you say, well, the whole cake was 100. I sold you half cake for 50. You know what? I'm gonna sell you a whole cake, a piece of slice cake, $20. There you go. So $20. You say, okay, a slice of cake is 20. And somebody said, oh, great. Let me get 4 slices. So they get 4 slices. Somebody else says, hey, and Miss Deborah says, hey, no, give me 2 slices. Girl, I need some of that cake. Your pound cake was delicious. So she gets 2 slices. And then J3 says, hey, how much is that cake again? Give me 1 slice. And then, somebody else comes to Miss Davis says, no, can I get some more of that cake? Let me get 2 slices. So imagine that whole cake being the company, okay? The whole cake is the company. So no matter what company it is, think about no matter if you put, Google, Apple, Amazon, Samsung, Nvidia. That whole cake is those uh, companies. Okay. So let's think about the whole cake of Apple. All right. That's the whole cake. The amount of shares, the total amount of shares that Apple owns is the whole cake. Now, the slices is the per share price. How much does that share? A piece, a slither, a slice of that company. How much does that cost? So that's what that is. So they have what's on the market of anything. Hello, together we break change. Miss Deborah says hello to you. Tabika says hello, Miss Deborah. So that whole those slices are what you can get in a company. So they say, hey, together we break change. We're gonna sell you a share price. We're gonna sell you a share for this price. This is how much this share costs. So the market value determines what it is. So the market's like a wave. It goes up and it goes down. You got high tide, low tide. But when it comes to the market, there could be anything that could make the market go down. It could be, hey, bad news. Well, the company is selling this product here and we don't like it. Okay. J3 says, hello, Miss Deborah. So we don't like this. We don't like how they're selling this over here. It could crash the share price. Or something happens with the CEO. It could make the share price go down. Or well, we know that company is not going to make money because there's a recession that may make the share price go down. Okay. So you got that whole cake. All right. J3, Miss Deborah says hello. So you got that whole cake, and those little slices are the share price. So what's on the open market is what the little slices of cake that represents the share price. Now, some companies have what's called like a even smaller, it's called fractional shares. So what if let's say Apple is $300 a share, and you say, man, I don't know if I can pay $300 for one share. Some brokers allow you to buy what's called fractional shares, like little slithers. So somebody may say, I may say, well, I don't need to get a whole slice. Hey, together we break chains. Can I get a little slither? And you say, okay, sure. And well, you got a whole piece, of that cake for $20. That little sliver, how much you gonna charge me? You say, I'm gonna charge you 10. I said, okay, well, here's $10. So you gave me a piece of a piece. Do you see what I'm saying? So some companies, some brokers allow you to buy a small piece of that piece of a stock. That's called a fractional share, a little fractional, a little piece of that company. So you can buy as many fractional shares as you like, or you can buy the whole slice of that share, which is of that company. So it just all depends on what company it is. So for instance, if you look and see, let's say for instance, Apple right now, Apple stock right now goes for $165.21 right now. Okay, so I said under $200. So you have on the stock, it's going for under $200, $165.21. So let's say if you are with a company like a company called Robinhood, allows you to buy fractional shares, small pieces. So you say, I only got $25 this week, but I want to buy some Apple because it's lower. Then they will allow you to buy $23, $23 worth of that stock or $25 worth of that stock. Can't respond to the chat. I'm listening, but hands are dirty and oily. Yeah, I understand, J3. So that's why, when people come in or say something, I kind of repeat it. So, because I know that, sometimes I'm listening to things and listening to things and I'm people are saying stuff, but I'm not necessarily watching. I'm listening. So I definitely understand, J3. So that's, I try to say something to people so people can know because they could be, washing dishes, cooking, frying some fish, you know what I'm saying, having their hands up in the chicken batter, getting a little razzle dazzle, So that's why I say that. But let's say together we break chains. Let's say if you wanted a slither, a slice, a little small fraction of that particular stock. I want a piece of Apple. I can't buy a whole slice today. So a whole slice of apple like that cake we're talking about is 160, let's just say $166, just for sakes. So you saying I can't pay $166 right now, but I can pay 25. So that company says, you know what? We're going to allow you the opportunity to pay $25. So you get a little piece of Apple. Okay. Same thing with any other company. You can pay a little piece of that company. All right. And actually, if I'm not mistaken, it can be anywhere from as low as $1, $1. $1. You can put $1 on Apple. Well, how can I get $1? You can say, I want to put $1 on Apple today, $1 on Microsoft, $1 on let's see what I want. Nike, $1 on Procter and Gamble. You can do it that way if you like as well. It's called a fractional shares. Most companies do not offer that, like something like a TD Ameritrade. They do not offer fractional shares, but they allow you to do that on Robinhood. So the Robinhood app, I will be doing more videos on Robinhood. So I have that, and I'll go ahead and write it down so that I can do that. Um, so I'll do some videos on Robinhood. So it'll allow you to do fractional shares. What is the payout if you get a fractional share? So imagine this, okay? Um, so remember we talked about stocks going up or down. Okay. I do what's called long-term investing. Long-term investing, as I said, I'm not an investment advisor giving investment advice, but long-term investing allows you the opportunity to invest for the long haul. So I invest between 5 and 10 years. That's what I mean by long-term. Now I have some short-term plays that I may say, okay, well, this may be a little something, but I know EV 5 to 10 years. I know for a fact, in my opinion now, just my opinion, that EV sector is going to take off. So let's just say Apple. I know if I look on the chat, I'm sure between Miss Deborah, J3, Tamika, Miss Davis, Together We Break Chains, I know for a fact that one of you have Apple. I know for a fact. Matter of fact, if you have an Apple phone in the chat, if you can write it. Now, J3, you don't have to write it, I understand. But if you have an Apple phone, write it in the chat if you got Apple phone. Or if you have an Android, write Android in the chat if you have an Android phone. I understand J3 you can't write this, but if just follow me, just humor me people for a second. Apple. So Miss Deborah has an Apple. Android. So that's 1 and 1. Okay, Android. All right. So we have Apple, we have Android. Anybody else want to write if they have Apple or Android in the chat? I'm going somewhere. Now, I personally have both. I have a Android phone and I have an Apple device. And you're probably wondering why you got two different devices. Well, personally, I like Samsung for the video and the audio quality. I like Samsung for that. Now, as relates to the connectivity, I like Apple because it can connect everything from my laptop, MacBook, to the phone, to the watch, to the iPad, and everything. The connectivity, in my opinion, is a lot better. Okay. J3 is a caveman. Oh, that's funny. Together We Break Change says J3 is a caveman. She's laughing. So J3, I understand. You like, let me wipe my hands and say something back. J3 is doing something right now and his hands is oily, so he cannot respond right now. But when he does, I'm sure he's going to respond. So when it comes down to it, you ask, what payout can I get? What payout can I get? Okay. He said that's, and Tamika, excuse me, Together We Break Change Production says that's why I wrote that, because she knows that J3 can't respond. So J3, she's calling you out in the chat. And I know you can't respond, and that's why she said she did it. So let's say you ask the question is how much is my payout? So if you go, the I call it resources. You have your resources. I remember back in the days. Remember we used to have open book test, and my teachers, sometimes if you took notes, they would allow you to have an open book test and go back on your notes. And 9 times out of 10, something they said in class would be on the test. I had a coach. He's no longer living right now, but he was my track coach as well. He'd be like, "You don't read your book, son. Lesson 1, page 4." So Coach Tuck would always tell us to go to our book. The good thing about us, we have the ability, and like I said, in the chat, if you're coming in and you're new, in the chat, I'm going to put in the chat a book that I wrote. It's a small ebook Just put your name and information, right name, right information down in there, and you will be able to get the ebook. It's going to simplify everything for you. So, but it says, Together We Break Change. Yes, I remember the open book test and writing notes. They did help a lot. Right. So this is your open book test. I'm going to have this in the description of that. It's the ebook version of my book. You don't owe me nothing. Just put it, your name, information in there. Now, I may occasionally send you something to let you know if I'm going live, or occasionally say something to you. But no, I'm not going to say, hey, Together We Break Change Productions. I appreciate you too. Um, This is Robert with You Learn with Robert. Have you had your car extended warranty? I'm not going to say, Miss Deborah, hey, this is Robert with You Learn with Robert. Hey, have you got your extended warranty for your car? No, I'm not going to bug you like that. I can assure you that I'm not going to sell you information. The information comes to me. Okay. Just want to let you know that. So, to answer your question, when it comes down to it, Apple share price. I'm just using Apple for an example. As I said, I'm not an investment advisor giving investment advice, but as it relates to Apple, I'm just saying that we looked in the chat and it relates to Apple. It looks like, I appreciate you as well. I appreciate everybody. So it looks like right now we got kind of a tie because I put myself in there. It looks like we got kind of a tie. We got a split between Apple and Android. Okay. So right now, what I look at, if you look at the chart, and like I said in my book, it'll have some breakdown of information. The reason why I invest long term, 5 years, 5 to 10 years, is because of this. If you go to the 1 day chart of Apple, it looks like as of now, Apple is down 0.21%. If you go to the 5 day chart, it looks like Apple is up 2.16%. If you look at the month chart, looks like Apple is up 6%, 6.01%. If you go to the 6 month chart, Apple is up 22.80%. If you go to the year chart, Apple is up plus 40%. Excuse me, the year to date. If you go to the 1 year marker, it's up 0.08%. If you go to the 5 year marker, it says Apple is up 298.77% over 5 years. So that's why I invest 5 to 10 years, because that's why I do that, because I know, okay, if a recession happens, we know things are going to go low. I'm personally liking it. When things go low, I'm like, yes, how low can you go? I'm happy. I'm excited when things go low. I'm excited because I know, for me, red is good for me. That means I can buy more shares of that company. Red allows me the opportunity. So, there's some people that may be in this chat who may be worth over $10 million. As of now, I'm not worth over $10 million. So some people may say, look, I can buy $1 million worth of Apple and not even sweat. Right now, I'm not in a position to buy over $1 million worth of Apple. I'm not worth over $10 million as of now. So right now, you know, uh, so many shares may be in what I can do, or fractional shares for some, So the answer to your question is a long but short answer. So it depends on how long you plan on investing. As I said, I'm not an investment advisor. Before you make any move, make sure you pray about it. Make sure you understand the move you're going to make. But over the long haul, as you saw, over the long haul, it looks like Apple was down. Oh man, Apple's down. But the people who've had Apple for 5 years aren't complaining. I'm not complaining. People who've had Apple 6 months aren't complaining. I'm not complaining. The people who've had Apple over 3 months are not complaining. So it depends on the asset. What I normally do, if I'm looking at a particular stock, I say, okay, so you can write down Apple right now is $165.21 as of today. 165.21. So you can write it down. 165.21. That's what Apple is. And you can look at it. If you bought it at that price, anything that goes under that price or close to that price is a good price to me. But I look at things for the long-term value. If I buy it right now and it goes down to $100, I'm not going to cry about it, because I know that over time people are going to be buying Apple. They're going to buy Apple products. I've been wanting to invest for a long time. And the people I know have stock, but they won't share this info. Sad. Yeah, it is sad, especially, just going to be honest. I'm obviously, looking at my skin color. I'm obviously African American. It's okay. I don't discriminate no matter what color you are. But at the end of the day, it comes down to race. A lot of people don't want to share things because they believe, though, oh, no, they might get ahead of me. Oh, if I give them my book, they might make more than me. Man, look, I'm telling you, to be honest with you, I've learned in my life, from the Bible I read, it says, "Given it should be given to you, good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and run it over, shall men give into your bosom. For the same measure you meet, it should be measured unto you again." It says, "Don't let your left hand know what your right hand's doing." That's what I believe personally. So when it comes down to it, that's why I'm a giver, because I know that by giving freely and open giving, I know that for me, my help and my blessings are going to come. It's not necessarily monetary. I really care necessarily about that. I want to help individuals. That's my whole goal of being on YouTube, to help people. My whole goal is to make sure that people are going to be okay, especially long term, especially knowing what's going on now, knowing the shift in the market and things like that. That's what's going to happen. Giving is a joy, exactly. And a lot of people have the gift of giving. I believe I have that gift. Some people don't, but you got to stir up the gifts. Personally speaking, it is a joy. To me, it is. Be a cheerful giver. So that's why I give. Some people, they hold their hands tight. If I get this, I'm gonna use this for instance. Okay, this is a camera, by the way. If I tighten this up in my hand, hey, can I see your camera? No. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Well, first off, I can't use the camera for what its functionality is. And secondly, I'm all mad. I'm not going to show you what this camera is. I'm all mad. Oh, why should I show you? What am I receiving from that? But if I use the camera from what it's for, I can give a gift from, let people enjoy the gift. It's for a reason. So when people don't share things, that means number one, they don't understand who they are. Because if they understand who they are and whose they are, then they would understand that they should give. I wanted to invest so that income from the stocks I can use to feed the homeless and pass out essentials. I understand. I do understand. I'm just going to be real with you. I give to a lot of homeless shelters as well, monetarily. So I definitely understand that. My heart goes out to all the homeless people. Definitely understand that. So when it comes down to it, you have to look at what, it's one of these situations, like we don't have a hourglass. Like I have an hourglass right here. I'd have to get up to get it. But in the hourglass, if we turn the sand down, we can actually see, some hourglasses is 30 seconds, a minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. We can actually see the sand come down and knowing how much time is in that hourglass. But when it comes down to our life, we don't know tomorrow or next week. We don't know our days. We don't know, how much time we have in that hourglass. Same thing with investing. There's no necessary crystal ball that says, oh, this is 1,000% true if you do it this way. Because, when it comes down to it. So what I'm saying is, we have to look at long term, knowing that 5 to 10 years, in my opinion, I personally foresee, I don't see nobody coming and beating Apple personally. That's my opinion. I just don't. I can't see that happening. Like I said, now I have both Android and Apple. I personally like Android. I like the functionality of Apple, but I hate their cameras and their, I'm just going to be honest. I don't like their cameras at all. I don't like the video. It looks fuzzy. It looks old. That's why I have Samsung as well, because I have to take video and do things like that. So when it comes down to it, uh, you have to ask yourself this question: how long do you plan on doing something? Like a short-term investor, you know, in my opinion, short term, you may not necessarily be in a good position because you're expecting something to happen overnight. You know, And sometimes in the Bible, I've seen where, I'm not sure what people's religious beliefs are, but I've seen where people invested in something and then they got a return. They threw their net out, and then, oh, they had so many fish. They got so many jars of oil. And they kept pouring, and then they got a return. But it told them to go sell it in the market. The parable of the talent talked about the person who had the talents. Somebody put it in the ground, just like putting your money in the bank, my opinion. Somebody went in the market, made things happen, moved and shake. They had three, they got three more. Somebody had five, they had five more. Person put it in the ground. Oh, I'm scared to do something. Lord, I don't know what's going to happen. Oh, Lord, if we only knew. That's just my opinion. So when it comes down to it, long term, you can put yourself in a position where it could potentially be better, but you have to ask yourself the question of where is it that you think is going to go better. You know what I'm saying? So where is it that you think they have some things that move like this? 'Cause like I said, if you look at the chart of Apple over a 5-year period of time, that's up over 298%. Now, I want to warn you that most people have under 0.05% in their bank account or savings account. So, what does that mean? It would take somebody about almost 1,000 years for 500, 2 to 500 years to get even half the return of what Apple had over a 5-year period of time and under that 1%. So, you have to ask yourself that question. What is it that you want to do? And how long do you have? To do that? And I'm not saying that we all know our timetable, but how long do you think that you could wait to do something? Because, it's kind of like, um, I like personally looking at my portfolio, looking at some things and saying, I like how this is going up and down. Oh, when I see something red, to me, if it's like something like Apple or Microsoft or Nvidia, something like that, I say, well, it's red. That means I need to buy some more because I'm looking at a 5 to 10 year range. You see what I'm saying? So, you have to ask yourself that question. It's not necessarily, I want to put something here so I can take it out and do something tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So that may not be the case. Long term, yeah, because I do believe a recession is coming. I do believe there will be a major correction in the market, especially when it comes to things. A lot of things are overpriced, especially inflation. Gas was under $2.50 where I was. I went to the gas pump uh today, and it was over three and some change. So I was like, okay, well, gas is up. So and that happened because they cut OPEC plus cut the barrel in production, and Saudi Arabia said, no, we're gonna cut production because they know that everybody's going to EV. They want to get all the money they can get till this EV market takes over. So ask yourself the question, how long do you have? Where do you want to go? Oh, 469 here a gallon. You must be in California or Texas somewhere. Yeah, 469. Wow. I remember when it was like that close over here. People were riding the bus and I wasn't. Yep, Cali. Yep. People were riding the bus and things of that nature because they were like, I'm not going to spend all that money on that. Nope. I remember those days. But you have to ask yourself this question. Hey, how's it going? How's it going? How's it going? Welcome in. Mage, Mage. The first word I'm not going to say, but last word, Mage, Mage. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Thanks everybody for hitting the thumbs up. Thanks everybody who shared the video out. I really appreciate it. But you have to ask yourself those questions. Where is it that you want to be? Where is it that you want to go? And how much time do you have? Together we break change. Production is speaking to you, Maj. And I'm just not going to say the first name, Maj. I'm sorry. My grandmother passed away 2019. We later the rest. She passed away December 27th. 2018. We later the rest January 1st, 2019. So it's not you. I just kind of still kind of stings. So yeah, if it's okay to call you Maj, I'm just letting you know. So none the least, what we're talking about is stock. A lot of people call me Maj. Okay, cool. So as long as I'm not the only one, that's cool, and as long as you're okay with it, all right. But what we're talking about is stocks, the stock market. I appreciate that. Together we break chains of production. I appreciate that. That's something we got to do. We all born. We all have to leave this earth. That's just something we have to do. One of my grandmothers said, "We all God's flowers. He picks us when it's time." So it's a part of life. We miss the person, but depending on what your religious belief is, I believe she's in a better place. So for me, I'm okay with that, but I still miss the person. So I definitely appreciate that. So as it relates to anything, you have to ask yourself the questions. Uh, Maj, what we're talking about is stocks and EV and things like that. In the description, I will be putting up a link that you can get. I have a book. You can get it at no cost. You just put your name and your correct email address in there, or your YouTube channel name and your email address. It doesn't matter. And it will give you the book. The only thing I ask for you to do is just read it. And do what you got to do. Like I said, I'm not an investment advisor. So be sure before you make any moves, you understand exactly what you're doing. It's to the point. It's simple. So if you hearing some of the things I'm talking about now, it's literally simple. I mean, it's broken down. I mean, broken down, and it's not long. I don't believe in writing long books because for me, time is valuable. Time is the most valuable asset you have. And some people are not going to read something this thick. They're going to say, look, if I wanted to go to school again, I'd go to school again. If I wanted to, be in NASA, I would go and, study quantum physics somewhere, So I understand that more people, when it comes to their time, I understand more people are not going to put their time in when it comes to certain things like that. Now, I wrote it in lay terms, so you don't have to worry about anything being crazy. So after this video is over, I will have a link. You just go to the site, put in the information, and it will be there. And I wish I would have went on StreamYard because I could have pinned it to the actual video and pinned it there so that you would be able to do that on YouTube. Unfortunately, I don't necessarily know how to make a link, a hyperlink in YouTube. I know how to do it in StreamYard, so I'm getting used to everything. So, nonetheless, I definitely appreciate everyone. Miss Maj, Together We Break Change, J3. I appreciate everyone. Miss Davis, definitely appreciate everyone in here. Miss Garrett, Miss Deborah, I appreciate each and every one of you who actually come in. I'm looking through the chat to be sure that I have not forgotten anybody, anyone lurking in the shadows. I appreciate the shadow lurkers. So I definitely appreciate the shadow lurkers as well. So if anyone has any questions or anything, feel free to put it in the chat. I'll be more than happy to answer it in the best of my ability. Ms. Deborah, I appreciate you as well. Thank you so much. Thank you. But as it relates to anything, you have to ask yourself the question, where do you want to go? And 5 years from now, where do you want to be? Ask yourself that question. What do you want to be? Where do you want to go? And in 5 years from now, where do you think the world would be? Where do you think the world will go? And 10 years from now, what do you want to be? Where do you want to go? And 10 years from now, what do you think the world will be? What do you think the world is going to go? You ask yourself those questions, you will know. Welcome in, everyone. Welcome in. So ask yourself those questions. What do you want to be? Where do you want to go in 5 years? What do you want to be? What do you want to go in 1 year? What do you want to be? And what do you think the world is going to be in 1 year? What do you want to be? Where do you want to go? Where do you think the world's going to go in 5 years? What do you want to be? Meaning, where do you want to be and where the world is going in 5 years, in 1 year, in 10 years, in 20 years? So ask yourself those questions, write it down. I believe in writing down things. Hello, always, Tam. Welcome in. Hello, hello, hello. We're talking about investing, as I'm not an investment advisor giving investment advice, but I let people know in the description there will be a copy of an ebook of my book. You owe me nothing. Just put your name and email address. And I'm not going to say, hey, always Tam. This is Robert from You Learning with Robert. Do you have your car's extended warranty? I promise y'all, I'm not gonna bug y'all like that. Y'all might get something if I go live. You may get something as it relates to me saying, hey, check this out. But I promise you, if I'm gonna sell you something, you're gonna know I'm selling you something. And I'm not gonna be like those people every 5 seconds. You look and see an email from me. No, Not even. I just wanted to give you something. Wanted to be sure that you had something that was going to help you, especially for what the world is going to go through in the next couple of years. I would say the next 3 to 6 years. It's going to be a major shift and a major change, especially on how we look at things. If you have kids or grandkids, your kids or grandkids or your family members who have kids or grandkids, it's going to be different. It's going to be different. People are not going to have that old money that we used to walk around in our wallets with. That's going to be gone. We have to ask yourself that question. Where are you going to be? Where do you want to go? How do you want to be in position as it relates to what's going on? So even as people say, make sure you're getting food, make sure you're getting water, make sure you're getting things that's going to help you as it relates to that, because we cannot forego those things. Hello, everyone in the shadows as well. Anybody coming in the shadows, in the parking lot, in the back of the building. Hello, everyone. I just wanted to say hello to everyone. But we have to ask ourselves those questions. If things shift as it relates to food, if this happens, what do we want to be? Where do we want to go? Ask yourself all the questions, the what ifs. And I'm not saying that to make anyone fearful. I'm not saying that to make anyone scared, because I believe we have not have a spirit of fear, but of love, power, and a sound mind. That's what I personally believe. Don't know what you believe, but that's what I believe. So as it relates to anything, we have to ask ourselves those questions and put ourselves in position to make a change, put ourselves in positions of power. We can't be fearful, because just like they talked about what I believe in, they had some talents. One person put it in the ground, was scared. One person had three. They started going to work. I got this idea. Oh, I'm gonna make this course. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go to market. I'm gonna do this. One person had five more. Yo, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. Oh yeah, I like this and that idea. I'm gonna invest in here. I'm gonna do this. They did all these things, and somebody came back and said, "Yo, pretty much where my money at." One person said, you know what? You gave me three. I made three more. Hey, come on with me. I got you. Come on with me over here. Other person had five. Hey, this is what I did. I was moving and shaking here. I did this. I did this. I did it. Oh, that's what's up. You got five. You got five more. Come on, roll with me. Person had one. Hey, that money I gave you, where is it? See, what happened was, I got scared, right? So I put it in the bank. I was making sure that it was gonna be safe. Then he said, "Hey, did you at least put it in a bank that had interest, high yield interest?" Nah, man, I ain't do that. He put it in a hole in the ground. I ain't do that. But did you at least give it to the exchangers, people who knew how to invest money? Nah, I ain't do that either, man. Well, what did you do with it? I told you, man. Here you go, right here. I got you. Now good and daggone well inflation is high. I'm just paraphrasing this so people who read, what I read, don't get mad at me. Good and daggone well inflation is high. Eggs, $28.50. Milk, $500. And you're going to put it in the bank where it's going to lose money? That's pretty much the paraphrase of what happened. So a lot of us are putting money in those places that are losing value. There's also gold and silver. There's a belief that the BRICS nations are going to come up, and that's Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. There's a belief that they have an alliance. Other countries will be going and coming up with them, and there's a belief that those countries are going to be backed by gold and silver. So what does that mean? Um, our money is backed right now. If you're in the United States, is backed by just, hey, it's good. So if you pop that $100 bill, it's good. That cashier is going to accept it after they mark that pen over to make sure it's real and look it up into the sky. Okay, it's real. They're going to accept it. That $50 bill, they're going to mark that pen over, look it up, or put it in a machine, and they're going to say, oh, it's real. They're going to accept it. That $20, at $5, at $10, at $1, and whatever. They're going to, it's backed by the word. Oh, yeah, we believe it's sovereign, it's good. But if in case the BRICS nation goes and says, we're going to back this by gold, I'm telling y'all now, it's going to be a whole lot of stuff. It's almost like me. Yesterday, I came in my office and I was super tired when I got home. I started editing some videos to put out. And someone asked me to do something for them. So I did that project, got that done. And I sit in my chair like this. and then my mouth was open. I was drooling, and I woke up. But here's the problem: I did that, and I had something in the oven. So thank God I woke up before everything burnt. Had fries and some salmon burgers in the oven. So thank God I was able to wake up before that happens. What I'm trying to do is make sure everyone wakes up before they like me in my office, minding my own business with the oven on, knowing good and well I shouldn't be up here. I should be down there watching my food while the oven is on. Do you see what I'm saying? So right now, the oven is on. The food is in. Are you going to go to sleep on the information? Are you going to watch your food? This is food right here. Are you going to watch your food? Are you going to listen? Are you going to take notes? Are you going to put yourself in a position? You know what? That you learned Robert's talking some stuff. I may not agree with everything he's saying, but some things were valid. Are you going to take position? Are you going to take notice? Are you going to make moves? Ask yourself that question. Ask yourself that question today. What moves are you going to make? What shifts are you going to make? And I know that when I start talking about what I believe in, I lost some people because some people don't believe in what I believe in. It's not necessarily to say this is what you need to believe in. Oh, he's going to start preaching. No, that wasn't even the case. That was an example. And it's okay. Hey, I mean, if you don't believe what I believe, I'm not trying to force you to. I'm not trying to make this about religion. I was just simply making a point based on, as it relates to anything. Welcome in, welcome in. But as it relates to anything, you have to ask yourself that question. Are you going to be like me in the chair sleep, almost burning down the house because I fell asleep? Thank God I woke up before my stuff burned. Are you going to go to sleep in the chair, in the office chair? Are you going to get up, make sure your food is taken care of, and make sure you are ahead of the game? I'm just going to be honest with you. If you're in customer service, I'm going to be honest with you. You are in trouble. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but this AI and all this technology, this chat GPT, open AI, and all these companies that Elon Musk is talking about opening when it comes to AI, Bill Gates is talking about when it comes to AI, you're going to be in some trouble. Oh, you can't take my job. I work at the airport. Oh, you in trouble. You can't take my job. I take calls. You can't take my job. Oh, you in trouble. You can't take my job. I'm a waitress. I'm a waiter. You in trouble. You can't take my job. I do this. You are in trouble. Well, I drive trucks. You are in trouble. You are in trouble. Why am I saying that? You're in trouble because you're not paying attention. Great awareness. Great awareness advice. And um, years ago, I remember wanting a mentor. And I remember somebody I used to work with. They would we just have conversations about stocks and stuff like that. But I didn't, look at him as a mentor. I just looked at him as, this guy talked to at work. And I remember, just I just listened to him. He's older than me, and he was giving me some wisdom. And I just said, you know what, maybe. And then I remember God saying, that's your mentor. And I was like, what? Okay, cool. So I started listening to him. But one thing he would say is, we need to open our eyes. There's opportunities every day. What do you mean? He says, there's opportunities every day. He said, when you open your eyes, you'll see the opportunities. I said, wow. They have a store here in California going towards Las Vegas. It's run by a robot. Exactly. Exactamundo. And I was about to mention that when I was talking about robots. They have a robot waitress right now. They have robots that you scan your phone. Scan your phone. You go in the store. The door locks behind you now. You go in the store, you pick up items, you go to the cash register, scan your phone again, pay for everything, then the door unlocks after you pay for everything. Yeah. So together we break change production. You're absolutely right. What we need to do is make sure that we are not caught off guard. They even got the pizza man. They even got the pizza man and pizza woman jobs taken away from our robot. They got cars that will come up to you with a car. They got people who drive in Uber. I drive Uber and Lyft. They're never going, oh, you're in trouble. If you have Uber and Lyft for supplemental income, understand they have people right now that can get in a car with no driver and It's just somebody in a computer screen, just being sure that the car will map up the right route just in case there's an emergency. They're just there watching you like this. Somebody, you look at the car in the front, and there's nobody there. You get in the back seat. There's a plexiglass there, so you can't go up front, and you sit down. If you don't buckle up, it has a sign that says "buckle up." If you don't put your seatbelt on, it tells you, "Hey, always Tam Tam, um, why you ain't buckled up?" Hey, Miss Deborah, what's going on? Why go ahead and buckle up? I'm gonna stop this car if you don't buckle up. Hey, J3, why you ain't buckled up? Miss Maj, hey, what's going on? Why aren't you buckled up? Miss Davis, hey, what's going on? Why you ain't buckled up? Together we break chains. You still ain't buckled up. We're gonna pull this car over. It will tell you that when you get in the car. If they're driving and you take your seatbelt off, it will say no, go ahead and buckle back up. There's a person just sitting there chilling, watching you through a camera that you're not even paying attention to, because you're just so, some people overwhelmed, some people scared, but it gets the person there quicker than any driver, and it's more alert than any driver. There's a pizza service right now that has a pizza delivery person come deliver, and it's a robot. Right now in Africa, they have this technology where drones are delivering medical packages. And in Africa, they're able to deliver your package in less than 15 minutes within a certain towns and cities within that particular area. That particular company is coming here to help Amazon out. Oh, I drive for Amazon. You're in trouble. If the package is lightweight, you are in trouble. I'm telling you, what we need to do is ask ourselves, okay, what components is that robot using? What components does it take to run that car? How can they make sure they have connectivity to the internet? What internet service are they using? What cameras are they using? What technology is it? 5G technology? Okay, how can they control on the steering? You need to break it down that deep so that you can say, oh, okay, well, this company, oh, NVIDIA makes graphics chips. Okay, I like that company. Oh, this person makes this. Okay, I like that company. Let me start researching that company. That's how you break down a company to see. And then another thing, how you break down a company, you ask yourself, together we break change. You ask yourself this question. Let's just say, and I'm just using this for an example. I saw that video of packages being delivered by a drone. Oh yeah. Let's just say together we break change. And always Tam Tam. I'm just gonna use, no, I'm gonna use myself for instance, okay? Always Tam Tam. I borrowed $20 from you, right? Just for an example's sake, okay? I borrowed $20 from you and I don't pay you back. And then I go to Together We Break Chains and borrow $20 and don't pay her back. You know, don't pay them back. Don't pay them back. And I borrowed $20 from J3. Don't pay them back. And everyone in here I borrowed some money from, don't pay them back. And then I come back next week and say, hey, can I borrow $20 more? Now, maybe 80% of you probably say no. 20% will have a kind heart and say, you know what? I don't know what this brother's going through. Here you go. If I do it a third time, y'all gonna be like, hold up, wait a minute, put a little bass in it. Somebody may be ready to break my legs and send Guido for me. You know, nah, we ain't gonna do that. They're gonna make sure that, nah, I don't think we're gonna do that. No, Robert, we're good. I'm not gonna do that anymore. And you may be nice about it. Hey, you know, the last 3 times you did this, but you didn't do that. Okay. So I'm saying something here. When you look at a company, it's called a balance sheet. You look at where they're spending their money. How much cash do they have on hand? How much overflow cash do they have on hand? So if something were to happen, can they weather a storm? And ask yourself that question. So I can just ask, how much cash does Apple have? I want to know. As of December 31st, 2022, $51 billion of cash on hand. Now in 2021, they had 62 billion of cash, but they did some things with that cash. And I'm looking on their balance sheet. Where did they spend their money? What type of things did they buy? What kind of companies did they buy? What did they do for decrease in cash? What did they pay off? Did they have a loan? What's going on? So I ask myself those questions. Same difference. Think about it that way. As I said, I'm not an investment advisor giving investment advice, but when you're breaking things down and you're looking at those companies, you ask yourself, if something were to happen, can they weather a storm? And personally speaking, with $51 billion of cash on hand, I think Apple will be okay if something happens. And if you do the same thing, you can do the same thing for any stock. You can say, where are they? Will they be here in 5 to 10 years? Or do I see myself still liking this company? So that's how you put yourself in position to make sure that you're okay. We know drones are going to be prevalent. We know that artificial intelligence is going to be prevalent. We know that when it comes to the cloud, you're going to need a lot of cloud servicing technologies. That's going to be prevalent. So we do know those things are going to happen. So when it comes down to it, what we need to ask ourselves the question, we need to ask ourselves the question of where are we going to be when it comes down to it? Where are we going to be? Where are we going to put ourselves when it comes down to it? What types of things are we going to place ourselves? Where are we going to place ourselves when it comes to that situation? You need to ask yourself that question when it comes down to it. Ask yourself the question. And when you ask yourself that question, you need to say, where do I want to be? Do you want to be the person that says, oh, I remember uh, when you learn what Robert was talking about this. I remember when I saw that on the news. I remember when I saw that and somebody at work was talking about this. Or do you want to be the person that says, yeah, I remember people talking about it, but people at work talking about it, and you say, yeah, I remember that company. But they don't know you own the stock. They don't know that. I remember years ago, I was working with a gentleman and he had Nikes. He loved Nike shoes. And I'm gonna be honest with you, back in the days, I used to like all that stuff. I don't really care about that stuff anymore. I just brand myself. As you can see, I make sure myself is branded because this is my company logo. This is me. This is my brand. So I make sure that wherever I'm going, I'm branded from head to toe, from the hat to the shoes. I'm branded with my stuff. Okay. Because I understand who I am, but all these other companies are what they do. So that's a whole nother subject for another time. But anyway, this brother was saying, hey, oh, Bob, oh, hey, I got this, I got these shoes. And every day I would see him with different shoes on. I was like, okay. So one day he was talking to somebody. He was like, yeah, man, I got the new blah, blah, blah is coming out. And I'm not going to tell you the name of the shoe because this particular shoe person gets kind of finicky when people use their name. So we're not going to say anything about that person. But anywho, they had this particular shoe. It was a Nike branded shoe, but it was this individual that everybody likes their shoe. So they're talking to this person. Yeah, I got the new so and so 28s coming out. Blah blah blah. Oh, I got them. And the guy said, "Yo, you got them? Yeah, man. You're gonna be the first person to be able to get them. 2 weeks before they come out, you'll have them." And I just, you're hustling in that conversation. This had to be about 8 years ago, and so I'm listening, and he's talking and talking and talking. And no, actually, hold on. 2011. It was 2011. It's 2023. Wow. That was 12 years ago. So yeah, he's talking and talking. And I said, hey man, what type of shoes you talking about? And he already knew. He said, Robert, I already know you. You ain't buying these shoes. He said, but you gotta remember, brother, before I tell you the price, you gotta remember, gotta remember, dog. You're gonna be the first person to have the shoe for 2 weeks. I said, okay, what we talking? How much is the price? And he said, man, just remember, Robert, before I tell you this price. So, all right, what's going on? What's the price? He said, $350. I said, for what? I said, the shoes gonna massage my back, rub my feet when I get off work? What? What? No. He said, man, I knew you was gonna act like that, man, but you gotta understand, brother, you're gonna be the first person to have these shoes. I said, are they stolen? Nah, man, I just got connections and blah, blah, blah. I said, but so you are paying $350 to be the first person to wear some daggone shoes? I said, okay, all right, okay. So anyway, I said, okay. I said, well, how many shoes do you buy, brother? And we was talking. He said, "Man, about every check I get some shoes and da da da. I at least get 4 pair of shoes a month." I said, "So based on that factor," I said, "Okay, 4 pair of shoes, a pair a week, 52 weeks. So you at least have 50 pair of shoes in the end of the year. Let's say a bad year, 40 pair of shoes. Yeah, that's about right. That's about right." I said, "Okay, let me ask you a question, brother. How much do you think Nike stock is?" And he was like, I don't know. I remember. I remember at that time. I pulled it up and Nike stock was $51 a share. Nike stock was $51 a share at the time. That's a lot of money. My feet won't know how to walk in them. I know. I'm like, are you crazy? I might get some dress shoes that are custom orthotics or something like that because they're dress shoes and they're custom and they are molded for my feet. Other than that, no, I'm good. So I said, look, Nike at that time was $51 a share. I said, let's say Nike's $50 a share and you don't buy 2 pair of shoes. So that's $500. You take $500 and you invest in Nike stock. So let's say you did that, brother. I said, how many shares would that give you? He was like, oh, well, about 10 shares. I said, okay, 10 shares. Okay. So you got 10 shares. I said, why don't you just do that? Now, I'm not an investment advisor giving you investment advice, but brother, when it comes down to it, if you do that, you would have 10 shares of Nike. And of course, if you're going to be the man that likes to buy shoes, you should own the stock too, because it's going to grow. And he's like, well, I'll think about that. I said, okay. So he did that, and I was like, all right. So anyway, it was probably, let's say 2020, 2021 when I saw him again. 2021, I saw him again. And Nike was over 160 something dollars a share. I said, hey, man, remember the conversation we had? He said, what conversation, man? We talk about it a lot. I said, remember I was talking about Nike stock? Yeah, man. I said, did you ever get any? Nah, man, I ain't buy none of that. I said, well, how many shoes have you bought? He said, man, I bought a lot of shoes since then. I said, for real? He said, yeah, man, I bought a lot of shoes since then. I said, oh, for real? I said, so that $500 I talked about. He said, I spent well over that. I probably spent about $5,000 since then. I said, oh, for real? I said, let me ask you a question. Do you know what Nike stock is now? I pulled it up. At the time, it was over $160 a share. I said, so brother, $160. If you would have spent that $500, you would have had 10 shares. So that $500 investment would be worth $1,600 today. His mouth dropped. I said, so imagine if you would have put that $5,000 over time into the same Nike stock. $5,000 over time. Imagine how much it would have been worth. And his mouth dropped again. I said, so at $50, I said, let's say if it was, you put $5,000 over a course of time and it was averaging $80 a share on average. I said, brother, that's 62 shares of Nike you would have had. So those 62 shares of Nike, 62 shares of Nike, let's just say 60 shares. 60 shares of Nike you had at $160 a share. I said, brother, you know how much that would have been worth? I don't know, man. Tell me, bro. And his head was hung down at that point. He was like, oh. So you sure you want to know? I said, yeah, man, tell me, man. I said, almost $10,000, bro. He was like, wow. I said, so do you see what kind of moves that you could have made? And the first thing he asked, man, how much did you invest in Nike? I said, don't ask me that question. That don't matter. Because you can't do nothing with what I've done. The question is, what did you do? Not the question is what I've done, how much I have, what do I have? That's not really your concern. The question is, the information I gave, was it valuable or invaluable? He said, man, I didn't even think about it like that. I said, the one thing I can smile about is that while y'all were buying shoes, I was buying stock. And he just shook his head. Now, I don't know if he's invested anything as of now. I don't know. I don't talk to the gentleman. But what I'm saying to you is you can't be scared. What I'm saying to you is you have to put a certain amount of money and say, okay, this percentage, if I lose it all, if I gain 1,000 times more, I'm gonna be okay. You have to put, I say every check, I'm gonna put X amount of dollars into this. If I lose it all, I'm gonna be okay. In your mind, you got to say, if I lose it all, I'll be okay. And the reason why I say that is because if you lose it all, you should be okay. Now you can also say, that's another thing with tolerance. How are you tolerating? How much do you tolerate? Welcome in, welcome in. What's your tolerance? It's called what's your investment tolerance. You have to ask yourself the question. Put $100 on a piece of paper and say, if I lose $20 and that stock goes down to $80, am I going to be okay? The value of my $100 down to 80, will I be okay? Then take 20 from there and say, okay, if it goes down to 60, will I be okay? Take 20 from that and say, if it goes down to 40 and I invested $100, how would I feel? Take 20 from that. And if it goes down to $20, will I be okay? Can I be okay? Ask yourself the question. And then you'll know if you flinched and said, I don't know about that. That's why I said I invest between 5 to 10 years long term. Like I said, I'm not an investment advisor giving you investment advice. But that's why I invest in long term. And I say when it goes down, I buy some more of certain things. That's called what's called dollar cost averaging. You're averaging into your price. You're also looking at the stock. You're looking and say, okay, how much do I think this company can make? What do I think will happen? Okay, in a downturn, will people still buy Nikes? They may not. But guess what I think? I think it'll go lower. And guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to buy more. Like I said, don't buy this because I said this. In a downturn, are people going to buy Apple phones? They may not. It may go lower. But I don't think Apple's going to go out of business with over $50 billion in assets. So ask yourself those questions. There's some people who would rather buy Nike shoes and turn on their power. And unfortunately, I'm sure some of you know those type of people who feel that way. There are some people, had a friend of mine who worked at a school, and he said people would come in and talk about Nike shoes and things of that nature, but their power would be out. Listen to what I'm saying. They would rather buy a nice pair of shoes and be sitting in the dark. That's crazy. I would turn off all my lights so you can picture it, but I don't want to do that because then I don't want to do that. But imagine people would rather spend money on some shoes or some products than to pay their light bill. To me, that's kind of silly. So for me, I look at it like, I know people gonna buy shoes. I know the LeBrons, the KDs, your own priorities. I'm not gonna say this other brand, and everybody knows. Please don't put that man's name in the chat because he be getting all finicky when people talk about him. Everybody has a debate between him and LeBron. Don't put his name in the chat, but y'all know who I'm talking about now. Oh, he's a better player than LeBron. Oh, LeBron a better player than him. There's been certain arguments. People gonna buy his shoes. People gonna buy certain brand of shoes no matter what. No matter what. So to me, I was like, that's the sound for me, because guess what? I feel the same way. Together we break chains. My shoes, if you look right here, you see this? It's got my name on it. I got some other shoes that got my name on it. Not trying to be funny, but that's just me. Everybody's different. But I do know I don't buy shoes, but guess what? I do know people who do. I do know every time I go to the mall or go walk around and I look down and see people with shoes, I just smile. Every time I go into a shoe store and see people buying those shoes, I just smile because I know I'm okay. So that's just me. I will be, okay, hold on. Let me read it here. I will be last to buy something. I don't have to be in the first one to get anything. Yeah, I believe that. But the only difference with me too, I personally would rather invest in to buy those pair of shoes. I'm just being honest. That's just me. That's just my mindset. Because I know long term it'll pay off long term. Some things went bad, of course. Some things when I first started was horrible, but some things worked out well. So you have to give yourself a lead time. That's why I said in the chat, I'll put a link to how to get this book at no cost ebook to you. So you ask yourself those questions. Where would the companies be? And where do you think it's going to go? And what do you want to be in those? Ask yourself the questions. The question is, where do you want to be? Now, I just want to know in the chat, if you want to be ahead of the curve, write number 7 in the chat. If you want to be ahead of the curve, write number 7 in the chat. If you want to be ahead of everybody, knowing before everybody gets there, you want to be ahead of everybody, write 7 in the chat. If you want to be behind everybody and you don't want to do anything, you just want to wait and play it out, write 0 in the chat, because that may be you. Together we break chains, write 7. And I know some people are in the bushes, they don't want to write anything. Hello, April Showers. Hello to all the beautiful people and content creators. Miss Deb wrote 7. So if you want to be ahead of everyone when it comes to where everybody's going, you want to be ahead of where people are, write 7 in the chat. Okay, I see another 7. Miss Optimize, yeah, that's me. Wrote 7. Hello, April Showers. Miss April Showers, how are you? So I see some people want to be ahead. If you don't want to be ahead, write 0. If you want to just stay where you are and not be ahead, write 0. Some people might want to be there. And I'm not trying to, insult anyone's intelligence or anything. I'm not trying to be funny or finicky or trying to be rude or mean. Some people may want to be, just where they are. That's just them. I have nothing against that. I want to be ahead. I understand. If you want to be ahead, write 7 in the chat. 7 in the chat. 7 in the chat. If you want to be ahead, there's some people that are in the bushes that don't want me to know they're here, and it's okay. I know they're saying in their mind, I want to be 7. My opinion is noted. Yes, me. My opinion noted. Nated. Okay, I understand. I understand. So it looks to me like the people who wrote anything, Together We Break Chains, April Showers, Miss Deborah, Miss Optimize, April Showers. It looks like people want to be ahead. So that means you need to ask yourself where the world is going in 5 to 10 years. Write it down. Where do you see the world going? And where do you want to be where that world is? Do you want to be the people that says, man, if I would have invested in that, if I wouldn't have been afraid and kept my money wrinkled up in my pocket. Oh man, if I would have done that. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize for mispronouncing, you know, your name. I'm sorry. So, okay, let me explain this to you. If you see here, right here, look, I'm going to do this. Okay. You see this? Right here is a light. It's a LED light. It's probably about this big. Okay. And I have a big monitor here. But when I look at the screen, because the monitor is in my eye, sometimes I'm not able to read the people's names correctly. So I apologize. That's why you see me looking down some. So I apologize. I'm gonna say, yeah, that's me. Okay, so I apologize for not pronouncing your name right. I do apologize. I'm just gonna call you, yeah, that's me, if that's okay. So yeah, as it relates to anything, just know if you want to be ahead, you have to start thinking about, if you look at more of the people who are in positions of power. Sorry, I was listening to something in my headphones. If you listen to people that are in power, they are in meetings to say, this is where we want to be. This is where the world is going to go. Had a friend of mine who worked in a hospital. And one thing he told me, he said they were renovating the hospital. He said he were renting the hospital. Together We Break Change Production says hello to April Showers. Um, he was renovating. They were renovating the hospital. He went to the ward side that they were renovating the hospital and adding on to the hospital. And he looked, and a doctor said, "Hey, come here. We're gonna call him John." He said, "Come here, John. Let me show you something." So John went in there with the doctor. He said, "You know what? You see this? This is all. This is going to be here. This is going to be here. This is going to be here. This is going to be here." He was like, "Oh wow, how do you know it?" He said, "The plans are here." So he looked down on this big table and they had, the building plans all laid out. And he looked and he said, "What's this?" He said, "Oh, this is a book for the hospital." He said, "Let me show you, John." So John came over there and looked at the book and he started flipping through the book and they had a 200-year plan. Yeah, that's right. The hospital had a 200-year plan and they showed where they were in trajectory to the plan of where they wanted to be. So you have to write it down, make it plain, write it down. I have notebooks everywhere. I write stuff down all the time. I have notebooks everywhere in my office. Notebooks are everywhere. I have here notebooks everywhere. I write stuff down, even write stuff down in my iPad. So I have notebooks everywhere. So you have to write stuff down and say to yourself, where do you want to be when technology moves? Do you want to be the person sitting at work and they say, "Hey, we got to talk to you"? Um, People at Best Buy right now have gotten a call, and that call has said, "Hey, look," they got a call in the office, they got an email, they got a text message, and that message says, "Hey, due to the decrease in store traffic and the increase of online sales, unfortunately, we're going to have to lay you off." Some people at Walmart got that same situation. They had to be laid off. Some people at Tesla, some people at Twitter, some people at different production facilities got that same call. "Hey, I'm sorry." McDonald's, they got the same call. Burger King got that same call. McDonald's closed up corporate offices, and then they said, "Hey, have something to tell you. We no longer need your services," while they were at the home. So ask yourself this question: do you want to be ahead of the curve or behind the curve? I'm telling you where the world is going. I may not know everything. I don't have a crystal ball. I'm not the person that does that kind of thing. But ask yourself this question. You may know certain things as it relates to what your field of interest is. Ask yourself this question: where do you want to be? And where do you think the world is going? And where do you want to be where the world is going? What I mean by that is, where do you want to be where the world is going? Okay. Where do you want to be? How do you want to be in position? How do you want to be ahead? And how can you get there? Well, first off, you got to do your homework. I'm going to put in here, this is your homework. I got a book. This is a physical copy of the book, but if you look in the link in the description after this video, I'm going to post a website. You go to the website, put your name and your email address, the correct email address. It will give you a copy, an ebook copy of my book. You'll be able to see it. It's not long. It's to the point. It is lay terms. April Showers says, "Hey, J3. Hello, together we make change. Productions, together we break change." And hello, Miss Deborah. April Showers is speaking to everybody. April Showers J3 said earlier that he was in the midst of doing something where his hands was oily, so he may not be able to say anything. April Showers says, "Hello, Tam Tam. How are you?" So ask yourself those questions. And the reason why I keep repeating it is because a lot of times we hear things, but by hearing it and writing it, we actually able. April Showers, my book is on at Amazon, but I don't want anything for it. I actually want to give it. So you owe me nothing, nothing. The whole point of me doing this is to help people. The whole point, my prayer was, God, send me the people to help. The people who I needed to help is here. So that's my whole point. You owe me nothing. I want to be a gift. Miss Deborah says, "Hello, April Showers. Love. I want to be a gift to many." Hey, J3 is back. J3 says, "Hey, I want to be a gift to many." That's the whole point. I want to be a gift. Don't worry about the cost. I want to give to you. So let that be my help to you to give to you. So don't worry about the cost. I don't want to charge you anything. The whole point is you're here. I want to be a blessing to you. It costs you nothing. Absolutely nothing. After this live, even if you come back tomorrow to this, the link in the description, it's going to be a book, a website that you can go to and get a ebook. Going to cost you absolutely zero zip nada. I'm not going to be that guy that says, "Hey, April Showers, how are you? Uh, this is You Learn with Robert. Do you have your extended warranty?" I'm not going to be that guy. I'm not going to try to sell you anything. And if I do try to sell you anything, you'll know that I'm trying to sell you something, because I will tell you, "Hey, I am trying to sell you something." I'm to the point. I don't have time to sugarcoat anything for anybody. I'm not that person that's trying to be sneaky about anything. Oh, let me get the email so I can do this later. No. If I'm going live, I may send an email. If there's something that I'm doing or in a certain city, I may send an email. If there's something new that I want everyone to know about, I may send an email. That's the whole point, is to help people. That's why I'm here. A lot of people, there's a lot of things, I call, are more seasoned people, more seasoned individuals, the youngsters, 18 to 25, y'all youngsters out there. Yeah, I'm calling you youngsters. Yeah. Y'all youngsters out there, a lot of seasoned people. I'm calling anyone over 25, 26 and up, seasoned people, seasoned. Anybody under that age is not seasoned. It's like bland chicken. The more seasoned people may need some information. So the whole point of me helping is because this is what I can do to help. That's the whole point. I am coming to help individuals. That's the whole point and the whole reason I'm here. I said I was going to go live. And what was funny was J3 was the first person in here. I appreciate that. And everyone else who followed suit. So I appreciate that. But what's funny, I was literally laying in the bed and I was going to go to sleep. And I said, I made a commitment. My commitment was to try to go live on Saturdays and do more lives on Saturdays. And I was laying down and I said, I made a commitment. I got to get up. And some people are probably coming in and wondering, why does he have a long sleeve jacket on? Well, if you do any type of, this is my office. Okay. I have, my studio lights and everything set up so that when I want to go live, everything is already set up. My studio lights, my camera, my computer, speakers, everything is set up. My microphone, my whole setup here, everything is set up. So when it's time to go live, I can just do what I got to do, turn on my computer. I got a big monitor behind me here. I got vision boards here. Just a lot going on. So I do this so that I can be ready. So I cut the AC down real low, because what happens is it gets real hot because of computers and lights and things of that nature. So it gets real hot real quick. So I made sure that my AC was on and low so that I can be sure that I can, be okay, because one time I came in here and it was like frying some chicken. I was over there sweating like Al Green at a concert. What's going on? I was sweating. Sweat was pouring down. I mean, I literally looked like I had preached a 80-minute sermon. I mean, I was sweating. It was bad. Now, y'all didn't get to see that live, but I was sweating bad. So I said, you know what? I need to figure out something. So that's what I did. I was sweating. I mean, I was sweating. I was sweating like a construction worker, outside. I was sweating like me on the track when I was a kid, because, the track draws more heat than out on the stadium. So yeah, I was sweating. So none the least, I definitely appreciate each and every one of you. If you have any questions, feel free to write it in the chat. Anything that I can answer, anything that I can pretty much answer, anything that's pressing or anything, feel free to write it in the chat. If I know the answer, I'll give you the answer. And if I don't know the answer, I'll find it out and give it to you if I'm able to, if that's an answer that I can give. So, a lot of times, there's some things that you just can't say. So feel free. Your weekend gardener. Hello, 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 hello. How are you doing this morning or evening, depending on where you are in the world? So, buenos dias, buenos tardes, or buenos noches, depending on where you are in the world. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are in the world. I just want to say hello to everyone. And thank you for everyone who's been here in the chat, people who snuck in, people who've been in the bushes, who came in and came out, all the people who hit that thumbs up button. I appreciate it. I'm starting a nonprofit. Can you assist? I live in Illinois. Okay. When it comes to nonprofits, I don't know anything about nonprofit organizations. I have a friend, her and her husband have a nonprofit. I do know that you need to file the nonprofit, but as far as the different ins and outs, I'm not sure as it relates to that. So I'm not 100%, you know, of all the ins and outs of that. I don't know anything about that one. So I don't want to tell you any information that is incorrect. Does anyone in this chat know any information or anyone that Miss April Showers can go to as it relates to starting nonprofits? Maybe somebody in the chat who is familiar or who can point her to the right direction. Anyone in Illinois or know of anyone who can help Miss April Showers when it comes to the nonprofit? Feel free to write it in the chat. Your weekend gardener says hello at J3. So everyone who's come in, um, feel free to type it in the chat. I know there's some people watching in the bushes. They're in the bushes. They don't want to come out. I don't want my name to be known. I'm sorry. I'm in the bushes. People know I'm here. They may say hi. Hello, bush people. Hello, bush people. I see you in the bushes. I'm being silly, y'all. Y'all, I lost two people by saying that. I'm sorry, y'all. Some people got scared. Oh Lord, he may know it's me. Oh boy, I'm silly, y'all. I can't help it. But yeah, if anyone knows, uh, together we break chain. If anyone knows of anything about starting a nonprofit, please uh, make sure you let Miss April Showers know or get in touch with her. Miss April Showers, what I'll do is try to see if I can find anyone on as it relates to that. I don't know. I have not talked to, that couple in a long time, so I don't know how it relates to that. Nonprofit. I'll see what I can do on my end, but I'm not sure. So if anyone knows of how to start a nonprofit or knows who to get in touch with, let Miss April Showers know. Hey, J3 is saying hey to everyone. Everyone in the bushes. Hello, bush people. Bush people, I see you in the bushes. I just wanted to say hey. I'm whispering because you're in the bushes and you don't want people to know that you're here. I just want to say I appreciate all the bush people. So everybody else, I'm saying hey, but the bush people, I want to say hey to you, okay? I'm being quiet because you're in the bushes for a reason. You don't want people to know you're here, and it's okay. I wanted to say hey to you. Okay, so yeah, I'm just letting people know. I'm sorry, y'all. I want to talk to everyone. I know I'm a little silly, but the bush people, I want to say hey to, because sometimes I'm in the bushes and sometimes I can't actually talk because I'm doing something. I got my hands on, like J3 earlier. He was working on something. He had oil on his hands. So a lot of times I'm doing something where I can't physically actually look at my phone or touch my phone, but I'm actually listening. So there's a lot of people who are listening. Hello, people who are at work who have their earphones in their ears and they don't want their supervisor to know that they're listening to someone on YouTube. Hey, how are you? Just want to say hey. There's some people who do that too. So I didn't want to say that out loud because I don't want to get anyone in trouble. Okay. So the people who are doing that, you know, I, I just, I'm not saying that I do those things. I'm just saying if you are doing those type of things, how are you doing? So yeah, seriously, it's a lot of things that goes on, and I just want to be a blessing to other people. Just being real, I appreciate everyone who's come in, everyone who's hit the thumbs button, everyone who's shared this out, everyone who's done those type of things. I really appreciate each and every one of you. I act silly a lot of times, but I mean, really, I'm being serious. I really appreciate each and every one of you because you've actually been a blessing. As much more than you know, you've actually been a blessing, and I definitely appreciate each and every one of you. And it's funny that it's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. A lot that goes on behind the scenes. And just know if you're thinking about starting a YouTube channel, if you're thinking about equipment or something like that, or even updating your equipment, I have some videos I recorded, and I'm doing a series on that as it relates to the technical side and things like that. So I'm doing a series with that, and especially with the microphone setup I have and the other mics that I have and what I started with. So I'll be having some videos as it relates to that. Miss Deborah says you share a lot of good information. Thank you so much, Miss Deborah. Uh, so I'll be doing a lot of videos on that behind the scenes. So you'll be seeing a lot of those things coming, a lot of how tos coming on behind the scenes. So that will be something that you will see. Just want to let everybody know that because there's some things I wanted to share and help people with. Like I said, anyone, in my opinion, over 26 is seasoned. Anybody under 26, 25 and under, y'all ain't seasoned yet. Y'all ain't been through nothing. Y'all ain't seasoned. You ain't got no seasoning on you. You're fresh. Like my barber said, boy, you're still wet behind the ears. Y'all wet behind the ears. You don't know anything yet. I'm not trying to say you're not intelligent. I'm just saying for my seasoned people, there's a lot of things when it comes to technology that we just don't know. I have two little twin nieces, and I was, at my sister's house, and they were on the iPad playing games, and I said, "What?" I talked to my sister. I said, "Yo, she said they downloaded it themselves. What? They're two. They downloaded games on an iPad. They found the games they wanted and they play them. They know how to turn the iPad on. They know how to put in the password to the iPad at 2 years old. I'm telling you, it's a lot that goes on. I call them super kids. These super kids, it's a lot of information that we don't know right now. It's a lot of things that we don't know, but they got some super kids that know a lot. It's a lot of things that they do and a lot of things that we just don't know about because it's just a lot going on. So it's a lot that we can't keep abreast with. So I apologize. I was doing a couple things behind the scenes. But yeah, everyone, I appreciate each and every one of you. I'm actually looking for that ebook copy, and so I can put it in the link in the description. So if you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm actually looking for the ebook copy, so I can put it in the description of this video after we end this live. Now, before I end, is there anything else anybody else may want to ask me? Feel free to write in the chat. Like I said, I may not know. I may not be able to give you the right information. I may know something about it. Feel free to write it in the chat. I'll be more than happy to help if I can help. Feel free to write it in the chat. Like I said before, at the end of this live, there will be a ebook at no cost to you and the link in the description. All you got to do is put your name, your email address, and it will send it to you. Okay. You will be able to see the ebook. Need to let you know, if you don't want to put your first and last name, I don't want them to know my real name. They call me, Platinum Johnny. I don't want them to know my real name is Johnny Winfield. I'm just putting up a name. It's okay. Just write Platinum Johnny if that's your name. If that's what you want me to know, you know, you know, it's okay. It's not even that serious. But the email address, put your email address so I can send it to you. All right. Be sure to put that information in. But as it relates to anything, if I don't see anything in the chat, I'm going to end this live. I've been on live as it relates to over 2 hours. And to be honest with you, my throat is getting a little bit parched. I keep looking down too, because normally I have some water in my office, and I'm looking and I don't have my Gatorade or water. I was looking for the water boy, and they say Gatorade. I was looking for something to drink. And I promise you, it's crazy. I just bought a whole pallet of water. I literally just bought a whole pallet of water. And actually, I might just go get it. Give me a second. Give me one moment. I'm going to get some water. So give me one moment. I'm going to step off camera to get some water. And so if you don't see me, then hey, this was good. It does not seem like it's been 2 hours. Wow. Yeah, it definitely does not seem like it's been 2 hours. Yeah, so what I'm going to do, um, I'm going to actually, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put the information in the chat, not in the chat, in the description. The information of where to get the ebook from, it will be in the description of this video. I'm looking for it. Okay. Sorry, I was looking at the place that I use, the platform. And what I'm going to do also, there's some things, some videos I have, like some how-to videos. There's going to be a lot of stuff come out on the channel that I've been working on behind the scenes. A lot of things that you're going to be able to see behind the scenes that is actually going to be able to help a lot of people. A lot of things behind the scenes, like how to do certain things. If you don't know how to do certain things on your channel, it's going to be a whole lot of things that I have behind the scenes. And what I'm doing now is looking for here we go. Okay. Let me see. Looking for the actual. Okay, nope, that's not it. Looking for the actual. Oh, here we go. Mm. Oh, here we go. That's what it is right now. Sorry, I was looking for the actual ebook site. Okay. Give me one moment. I'm looking for that site so that we can put it in the description so that you can have it. So I can be a man of my word. I don't want to say I'm going to do something and not do it. So that is definitely, I need the book for real. So that's definitely something I want to do. Let me see. I don't know what that is. Okay, yeah. I don't want to press nothing wrong. And yeah. So I'm not going to be able to do it while I'm actually in this. Or actually, if anybody knows, how do you edit a video that you're currently in? Oh, the edit button. Duh. Right in my face. Ha ha ha. Edit. We're going to edit this. Okay, so the code word, if you look, you're not gonna have to put a code word in, but if you look in the link in the description, it's gonna be, it's gonna say for you. The word is gonna say for you. That's gonna be the link for the ebook. It's gonna say for you, and the link for the ebook is gonna be under for you. Okay, so it's gonna say for you. The link in the description is for you. We don't want your secret pics. What secret pics? What secret pics? I don't have any secret pictures. Be real with you. The only thing you're gonna see is landscaping, pictures of me doing things for thumbnails. That's the only thing you're gonna see secret. I don't record anything crazy. Yeah, that's really, videos, me hiking, stuff like that. That's the only thing you're gonna see. And actually, here's what I'm gonna do as well. I'm gonna start a playlist. Certain playlists is gonna be for certain things. So if you look in the playlist, you'll see certain playlists. I'll be creating some shorts as well, as it relates to this information, because I know this is a lot of information to soak in. So there are going to be some shorts that break down certain moments of this particular live. So just feel free to look at those shorts as well. So just remember, in the description of this video, under the word for, that's FORYOU, it's going to be the actual ebook. That's going to be the link. Okay. So you're going to be able to utilize that link. That site goes to me. All the information comes to me. And it says, you'll see the information. It says get free book hypathon. It's going to say the hypathon because there was the past hypathon. It's going to say my name, you learn with Robert, enter your info. It's going to enter your contact details to retrieve your ebook. You're going to information. If you put your name and email address, it's going to, if you click on the little box, I understand and accept the privacy policy. So pretty much the short version of a privacy policy is, I'm not going to sit there and spam you and carry on. So you already know the details of that. I'm not going to do anything crazy as it relates to that. but you're accepting the fact that I'm going to send you some emails. You're accepting the fact that I could potentially send you something later. Now, if you don't get anything, feel free to check your spam folder or marketing promotions folder. That's information will be. And let me check one more thing. Do 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 do. Let me check one more thing. Okay. Okay. And let me check one more thing to be sure that everything with this page. See, and actually while I'm actually looking at this, so I have a system that allows me the opportunity to create my what's called a landing page. What the landing page does is allows me to create unlimited landing pages where I can do certain things to create a landing page for a particular event. So I'm making sure that particular landing page has the right information so that when you go to it, you won't be caught off guard with the information. So what I'm doing is checking on that information, new, checking on and make sure that everything's fine. Mhm. So that's what I'm doing. If you see me quiet, that's what I'm doing now. Um, There we go. Give me one more moment. There we go. I'm just making sure that um, making sure everything is taken care of. So I'm writing something. Just give me one moment. If you look at the email name, the subject line is going to say for you. Okay. So as soon as you enter your information, it should give you exactly what you need. So I'm making sure that it sends it to you immediately. If it does not, check your spam, promotions, or marketing folder for this information. Um, Spam, promotions, or marketing folder. Let me check the chat. Okay. So what I'm doing now is crafting this email for you to be sure. I'm doing like three means of contact. So if you look at your spam, promotions, or marketing folder, if you do not see it, you will check that. You will see the information. Robert, you'll see me there, and you'll see that here. It's a short email, and boom. Okay. So it should send it to you immediately as soon as you do what you need to do, enter your information. I'm going to create another email really quickly. Okay. So everything's fine with that. So you should be good. So, like I said, look at your spam, promotions, marketing folder, spams, promotions, marketing folder. If you don't see it immediately, the ebook, look at your spams, promotions, or marketing folder for the email. It'll be a book. Also, if that does not work, do me a favor, type in the video. uh, Help. Just type help in the video, and then I'll reply to your response. If you do not get it, like I said, once you put your information in, you should get it. If you do not get it, go to your spam, promotions, or marketing folder and look for the email. Okay. The email is just me. You'll see my information there, and you should be able to get the link to go there. Okay. So, once again, if you don't see it there, go to your spam, promotions, marketing folder. You should get it immediately. If you do not get it immediately, check those factors. If that all else fails, type help. I'm 99.99999999999% sure that you will be fine. Because like I said, I just checked again. So everything is in the link of the description. I appreciate each and every one of you. Under the link of the description, the code is for you. If you look under for you, you'll see a https dot forward slash link. Okay. There will be a link there. I don't know how to put the hyperlink in the actual YouTube chat. Know how to do it in StreamYard, but the YouTube, I have to play around with that later. But once again, I thank each and every one of you. If you have any more questions, feel free to put it in the chat, or once this video is over, feel free to put it in the video description. Thanks so much for actually staying here and redeeming some time with me. I don't believe no one spends time. Believe people redeem time. You spend that's uh, redeem time. Thank you for redeeming time with me. Thank you for spending some time with me and taking the time out. Really appreciate each and every one of you. And I'm going to end this live, and you'll see it in the description bar of this video. Thank each and every one of you, and we'll talk to you later. All right, now. Bye bye.